Hi, this is Faith, and you are watching The Faith Factor. Holla.
All right. Good morning. Good morning. This is Faith, and you are watching the Faith Factor. How you guys doing? It's been a long time since I've broadcasted this early. I woke up, got my coffee, and I decided that I had a little message on my mind that I wanted to put out there. There's been a lot going on within the space, as we all know. It's been a whirlwind of topics, mostly surrounding this thing with Fatty. I'm just gonna put it straight out there, right from the very beginning. It's very disturbing, to say the least, and um, it just got me to thinking about the company that we keep, the people that we entertain, and the mere fact that entertainment seems to trump. How can I say, what we monitor going in to our psyche, into our system, into our consciousness. And I remember doing a stream a while back where I was telling people, sometimes before you can be a parent, you have to learn how to parent yourselves, even if you don't want to be a parent. The first person that you're responsible for parenting is yourself. You have that responsibility to make sure that you are taking care of you. And part of that is making sure that you are digesting things within your psyche that is, how can I say, good. Now, entertainment is entertainment. And as adults, we know how to handle it. If it's a little raunchy, if it gets a little rough around the edges, if it's a little toxic, we can tell ourselves, okay, well, this is just a movie. This is just a song. This is just YouTube. That's part of being an adult. But what I'm seeing more and more is that there's some people out here who are not parenting themselves. There are people out here that are not, taking things as this is just, entertainment. Some of you are out here, you're ingesting trash, you're entertaining trash, and you're not monitoring the volume that you're taking in on a day-to-day basis. And so what's happening to some of you guys are starting to emulate that you entertain the most. And it's beginning to show. I have seen people on this very platform, they start emulating, they start mimicking, they start transforming into people. And these are people that I've known for years. And they begin to look extremely different than the person that I knew many, many years ago that was decent, had their head on straight. All of a sudden, you're entertaining trash. And I'm beginning to see people come on here and they begin to act out that which they entertain the most. And it's not becoming. It's not. Good morning, Cassandra Brown. Good morning, Eugene Steele. Good morning. I am Pretty Damn Gangster. You know, for the most part, my message to men and women is that we need a better class of people and that there is a better, and that is obtainable for each and every one of us. But the thing about it is, you got to want it. There are some people that don't want to be better. There's some people that will forever say, oh, I'm no better than the next person. And this is true on a human level. And I always say this, on a human level, we're all the same. But there are certain other levels where we're not created equally. And there's some of us as humans, we are trash. And if you hang around trash long enough, you are going to start to smell like trash. And then you become that which you hang around the most. Cassandra Brown says we are all sucked in at some point, some more than others. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And that is not to say that, we're not going to err, because to err is human. But part of parenting yourselves is realizing, hey, I'm in a real bad, messed up situation or position, and I need to turn that around. There's nothing wrong with that. There's no shame in saying, hey, I'm over here living foul. There's no shame in saying, hey, I think I made a wrong turn at this avenue over here. I think I need to veer myself back onto the right path. Because as human beings, we are going to make mistakes like that. But what I can't stand, and this is what really, really irks me, is when ego gets into the way with some of us, and we allow peer pressure also to make us do things, say things, act out in ways that we know deep down inside it's pretty bummy behavior. We know it deep down inside, but ego gets in the way. And then some of us are very susceptible, even at our ages, 30s, 40s, and 50s, because I see you guys out here being peer pressured at this very late age into partaking into some pretty trashy activity. And deep down, it's trash. Now, for some people, it may be something that's, a way of life for them. This is something that they've always experienced. And so some people genuinely don't understand and genuinely don't know any better. But even with those people, I have to give them the side eye, because once you get to be a certain age and you start looking around and you think to yourself, okay, I'm sticking out like a sore thumb here. Maybe, just maybe, I'm not able to get with the crowd of people I want to be with because I'm hanging with this crowd of people that's trash. At some point, everybody gets to a point in their lives where they have to do a self evaluation. And you can either choose to take control, or you can stay right there where you're at and never evolve. Some of you are very emotionally lazy people. And it's not that you don't want better, it's that some of you don't want to put in the work. I'm just going to tell you what it is. Some of you are sitting up here and you're hanging around elements in your life that's pretty subpar and you want something better, but because of the elements in your life, the peer pressure to race to the bottom, you don't want to appear like you're trying to be better than anybody when you know that there is a better. You don't want to rock the boat. You don't want to make enemies. You don't want to lose friends. So you accept where you are in life, but you're unhappy. And see, this is how you know that there's a bunch of unhappy people that are out here fronting because they're bitter and they spread that unhappiness onto others. Because people that I know who are genuinely happy and content with their lives, they're not out here spreading vitriol and anger and lashing out at people and striking out to hurt anyone. Most genuinely happy people are well-adjusted adults who are just living their lives, and they have a general, how can I say, happy-go-lucky demeanor. They're not spewing hatred. They're not trying to bring somebody else down because they're feeling down and they're unhappy with their lives. They're happy and they're content with their lives. And what they're doing most of the time, happy people are trying to, tell other people, hey, this is how you get to this level that I'm at right here. They're actually trying to help you because they're so goddamn happy. They want to share how happy they are. And see, whatever state in life you are in, you want to share it. Just like if you're miserable, misery loves company. And if you're happy, then you're going to spread happiness. Whatever is inside of you, this is what you will project to the rest of the world. And I'm here to tell you today, some of these people that are out here every day on this app, and their message is to constantly be nasty, constantly be cursing people out, constantly talking about, and here's another thing, braggadociousness. I can tell when somebody really ain't got it or they're faking it until they're making it because they're bragging on shit way too much. Like they're trying to convince themselves that they're that, top dog or that G or that bitch. Who are you trying to convince? Me or you? Because see, every day I wake up in my home. My home is nice. It's in a very nice community. I drive a nice car. I don't have to get up every day and remind other people that I'm living this good life. Because at what point am I trying to convince myself that my life is so great? It's really me trying to convince myself. It's not really me trying to convince you at this point. If this is something that I have to do on a regular basis to shit on somebody else. But I see people on social media in real life. These people are struggling and barely holding on by a thread. And they're out here doing some mighty strange things to maintain what they bragging that they got. And a lot of times you'll see these people extra buffed up and braggadocious with pride after they done just been on their hands and their knees trying to keep that which they're bragging about. After they done ignored what 4011 collection calls because they can't afford that car that they're driving. After they done secretly been behind the scenes showing dick and pussy pics because they can't pay their bills. This is what we're dealing with. So when I see these people come on here and they're angry all the time, nasty all the time, gotta put somebody else down all the time, gotta brag about what they got and what you ain't got all the time, this is generally what's going on. And to the naked eye, you think, oh wow, this person is that shit. This person is really, really doing it. But I'm telling you, the people that's really doing it, they're just simply being happy. They're not complaining and they're not feeling like they have to brag or put anybody else down. They're just simply living their life, not worried about whether you know they got it or don't get it. I'm telling you. And it never fails. It never fails. I can think of one content creator in particular that had a whole series called Hidden Homeless. And I remember she used to come on here bragging about what she got and what you ain't got. Who's beneath her and who isn't, and how she's doing it better than everybody. She's smarter than everybody. But the whole time, she being nasty, looking down on people. She couldn't pay her bills. But she was coming on here faking it till she made it. And stepping on a lot of people's heads. And putting a lot of folks down. Acting as if she was that bitch. You got to pay close attention to some of these people that come on here overhyping themselves. Especially if it's not coming off as teaching you how to get what they got. If they're coming on here, oh, all you motherfuckers is broke and I'm this and I'm that, best believe that's the main motherfucker that's on their knees begging for money. That's the main motherfucker. And so we think it's entertaining because these people that do this, they make spectacles of themselves. And they look quite ignorant to me. To people that got sense, they look quite ignorant. Because we know normal, well-adjusted people don't speak, act, or talk this way. We're living our lives. You know, I had a live stream up here and I was telling people how to make extra money. 1099, the wave of the future. Me and my brother BMT, we're showing like, hey, this is how you can get extra money. And you know, be be prosperous and have extra streams of income. We're not on here. You motherfuckers is broke. You bitches got to get on my level. I'm a bad bitch. Fuck the rest of you hoes ain't shit. We ain't doing that. We're not on here doing that. No, instead, we're just living our lives. BMT's a family man. He's a husband. He's a father. He's at home taking care of the kids. He's out here he has multiple streams of income. Not about to, tell all his business. He's not braggadocious about his stuff, but he will show you, how you can get to that level. And he'll do it in a way that's not going to make you feel less than. Cassandra Brown says, trying to keep up appearances with they begging bum asses. Exactly. What's up, Kev504? He says, facts. And trying to help black people. Exactly. I know plenty of quality people on here that come on here and they do quality content. But because they don't have a lot of drama going on, they not on here cussing people out, they don't get the views. But you got this toxic person over here that's unhappy with themselves, unhappy with life. They're a trash human being. And even though they might get a little something, how they got it was trash. They come on here angry. Like I see motherfuckers just wake up, you know, you can just tell the cigarette smoke is in their voice. You can just kind of tell, the trash people. The lung disease is starting to, take its toll for years and years of smoking Black and Milds. And they come out here and yeah, you bitches and this, that, and the other. And this is how they sound. Their voices are not even clear. They sound trashy. Every other word is a bitch this and a hoe that and suck my clit, my big ass booty, my wet ass pussy, my good ass pussy, and they sound like this and I'm thinking to myself, why should I listen to you? Why should I take any advice from somebody that sounds like this? And you're angry all the time. It seems to me like your money is not making you happy. You're not a happy person. And you gravitate to places where you can get that anger and that vitriol out because you're angry and you got this vitriol every day. So you go to places like the beef sector, different places like that, where you can just be on some 24/7 angry shit all the fucking time. You wake up and this is what you want to do. When I first came to YouTube, I came here to talk about, women in trucking. And a bunch of angry black men saw me in my truck. And they just started attacking me for no goddamn reason. And this was about maybe, a little bit over 10 years ago. I've been on this thing a long time. I've been on here about 13 years. Just angry people. And this is before I knew anything about a gender war or any of that. I was just happy to have a lucrative career, and I wanted to share it with other women because I was happy. And I wasn't coming on here, bitch this and a hoe that, and I got this and none of that. But people, mostly black men at the time, were coming at me with this anger and vitriol. And then it took me many, many years to realize that there were certain people that come online just to spread their negativity. It took me many, many years to realize that this is what people were doing. Broke ass niggas that was sitting up here mad because I was sitting up here with a job and making money, probably. Or broke ass niggas that saw me in my truck looking fine as hell. Now, I'm just kidding. But maybe maybe they wanted me sitting in that truck and they thinking, oh, she thinks she all that. Let me just take this bitch down a peg or two. I don't know what was going on in their minds, but that's what happened when I first came into the space. Angry motherfuckers, just angry. So they have spaces for this, but the problem is angry motherfuckers don't want to stay in their lane. And it's mighty funny to me how an angry motherfucker will tell you, they bully you. They'll tell you to stay in your lane. But them beef sector people, they don't want to stay in their lane. They come in other spaces and spread their negativity and stank everywhere. Spread their toxicity. Spread a lot of their dysfunction. So now we got people that are angry and now enter the dysfunctional people too. The pedos, the weirdos. I like to have sex with dolls because I can't get a woman. People. But they'll tell you they're real quick to tell you to stay in your lane. But they come out of their crazy, wacky lane to where normal functioning people are all the time. And I just wonder, when do the normal functioning people speak up? When do we ever fight back and tell these toxic, dysfunctional, losing ass people that are angry with themselves and angry with life to stay in their goddamn angry, toxic, dysfunctional lane? When do we tell them to stay in their lane? Because they're always they're all over the place. But if you go over there and tell them, hey, you know what, y'all some fucked up individuals, stay in your motherfucking lane, bitch. You know what I'm saying? And then here's the other thing that they do. You ever notice that the dysfunctional people, they run their mouths like lawnmowers? There's not a period at the end of any of their sentences. They ramble on and on and on and on and on. It's all curses and and really and truly, you don't even remember half of what they said. It's hilarious though when they do it, but it's only funny to me, and I can only speak for myself. It's only funny to me because they sound like those crackhead people or those meth addict people that I would see rambling to themselves nonstop on the corner. That's how they sound. I kid you not, every day, every morning, I ride by this one particular quick trip gas station, and it's this lady that likes to stand on the corner and spew nonsense, and she's angry at everybody, and she sounds like some of these chicks on YouTube. She ain't got a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of, but you would think that she's that chick because she be saying it with her chest out. Fuck you bitches. Yeah, I said it, fuck you bitches. And then she be just going on a rampage every morning. I kid you not. I can record her, and I can sit this lady side by side with some of these so-called bad bitches on this goddamn YouTube. And they all sound the same. Crazy. I am pretty damn gangster says I observe it. That's it. Yeah. Ain't nothing wrong with observing. Cause I do it too. I am pretty damn gangster. I have to look. I don't say nothing. And there have been a lot of times. There has been a lot of times where they'll see you and you are not partaking in the bullshit because you know it's nonsense. Then they get mad at you because you don't want to play their game. Hey, bitch, I'm talking to you. You're not talking to me. Because I'm not going to give you that flow and that energy. My energy is positive. What you got going on, that's something you need to work out with yourself. Because as for me and man, I'm good. God flow, thy one, thy hate said that's like telling gangs to stop gang banging. That's the beef sector move with caution. Hey, you know what? I ain't even telling them to stop. I'm not. But what really, really irks me is if you call out their toxicity and their nonsense to them and don't be over there where they at. Don't because there's a lot of times where I don't even know where I'm at. Like, you know how you try to move around the spaces to see, where you want to go. And you'll stumble across a platform that's at first it seemed like it's cool because the people seem to be talking okay. But then you don't know that some fuckery is about to go down. And then the fuckery starts to happen and you realize, oh fuck, I'm in the goddamn, I done made a wrong turn somewhere. I'm in the fuck space. Because let's just be honest. These spaces are not labeled. But after you're there for a while, you begin to see that it's fucked up. And so if you're having a conversation or think you're having a conversation and you're like, hey, that doesn't sound too kosher. Then you're getting cursed out all of a sudden and then being told to stay in your lane. But these motherfuckers don't never stay in their lane. They can sit up here and be just as ignorant and jacked up everywhere they go. But you cannot be sane everywhere you go though. That's the fucked up, lopsided logic of the whole situation. And I hope that you understand what I'm saying, because I'm not saying stop what you're doing, but if you're allowed to be fucked up where you go, Don't be mad at me if I'm not fucked up everywhere I go. That's what I'm saying. So these people are bullies, and you have to, kind of, you know, pick and choose your battles because they will definitely try to, tell you, oh, stay in your motherfucking lane, this, that, and the other, bitch, blah, 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 blah. And then they start shooting off like a goddamn machine gun, no period at the end of their sentence, hooked on phonics, motherfuckers. Hooked on phonics. Angry, bitter, losers. And they're losing at life and they're unhappy because of what they got to do in order to get to the same result as me. Now, see, I'm happy and I got my nice car and my nice place and my nice neighborhood, but I ain't have to get down and suck no dicks. I ain't have to put up no GoFundMe. I ain't have to show no pussy pictures. I ain't have to do none of that shit that you over here doing. And I didn't have to make myself a public spectacle either. Didn't have to do none of that. My livelihood does not depend on how many men I can finesse. I'm pretty set and I'm tight in and of myself. And I don't have to announce that I'm a bad bitch. I don't have to announce that. Because, see, if you a bad motherfucker, it's going to show in how you move. It's it's like it goes without saying. If you can move, if you can drop, money and help people, if you can maintain what you have, if you can raise your children and bring them to the level that you are and go beyond that, you a bad motherfucker. And the proof will be in the pudding. People will be able to see that. Also, it will be in how you carry yourself. But some of y'all running around here like Nino Brown. Nino Brown had plenty of money, but he was trash. And he was no good for the community. He set a horrible example for other men. But he had money. And see, this is the other thing that a lot of you got fucked up in your minds. Having money doesn't make you a quality individual. There's plenty of trash walking around here with money. And there are some people who are poor who are more of a quality individual with you than you are with money. That part right there. But the poor person will not be respected because they don't have money. Case in point, you can have a man who works at he drives the UPS trucks. He delivers packages for UPS. He's married. He's a faithful husband. He's a good father, a great provider, a great protector. But because he's not rich and because his money only goes so far, he can only afford to rent a home versus buy it. He can only afford to shop on the clearance rack versus buying anything that he wants outright. He can only afford to put things on layaway. He's not going to be respected as much as the Nino Brown, who isn't doing anything for the community, but instead destroying the community. But he's able to be loud and he's able to floss on the UPS guy and say, you ain't got it like this, and he can make it rain on him and his wife and his children. And you guys will look at that and say that right there was fly. Oh, that was fly. That's gangster. No, 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 no. You want to know what's gangster? What's gangster is the person that contributes to the community, the person that pays taxes, that helps support all the things that we take for granted in the community. That's gangster. The people that's out here fudging the system, scheming, conniving, stealing, they're not contributing anything back into the community. They only take. All these people making money under the table that don't pay taxes back into the community, don't put money back into the community. They're taking from the community. They're taking. And so what happens is less taxpayers in the community means less for you. That's less for you. So every time I see somebody that came up off of quick money, I don't revere them or think that they did anything special, because the only person that benefit from that is them. When you go to work and you pay your state taxes on the state level, that's money that's being pumped back into your community. That goes to the schools. It goes to your social security pot. It goes to all these programs that you see out here. The city systems that clean up the street, sanitation systems, irrigation systems. The taxpayers are the people that keep the community going. These people that are out here so-called getting it fast, the come up kings, the come up queens, they don't contribute a goddamn thing. Furthermore, they put a burden on the system. They put a burden on the system. I am pretty damn gay, so you are a person that contributes to the system. You're the reason why there are still schools in your community. You're the reason why there's still a trash pickup that comes around and gets the garbage in your community. You're the reason why the community is functional if you're paying taxes. So you actually provide a service. This is what people talk about being a productive adult is. You're productive. We're not going to stop the government from being corrupt. We're not going to stop that. But that motherfucker that do nothing into the system, but they want to come down and they want a UPS guy. At least the UPS guy contributes to the greater society. At least he does that. That motherfucker that's getting that fast money does not give anything back to nobody but himself. And they take from the community. They don't do anything but leave trash in the community. Dope fiends, bunch of bastard babies. That's what they do. And I can't respect that. I don't respect the quick hustle. But those of us that actually contribute, I respect that. I respect that more than the fast hustle. The fast hustlers, they give nothing back and they don't do nothing for you. Nobody contributes from it. Nobody benefits from it, excuse me. Nobody benefits from that. But there's a love and there's an unhealthy respect for the fast hustle to the point where we're quick to defend a pimp over the UPS guy. We're quick to elevate a pimp to God status over the UPS guy. God flow, if you want to be an ain't shit nigga, then stand on it. At least we know and we can see you from a mile away. And then that way I can avoid you. So that much I do respect. Let me know you ain't shit so I can, sidestep it. When you see shit on the ground, you don't typically step in it, you sidestep it if you see it. But if shit is hiding, you get that shit on the bottom of your shoe and it's not too nice. You don't like it. So we like it when the shit is out in the open so we can sidestep it. Yes, pretty damn gangster, save your money. Open up a high interest earning savings account. But I mean that. Today I just got to thinking about all the trash shit that goes down and how we love to worship that which should not be worshipped. There's one thing to, observe, because I observe and hell, I laugh. Some of the shit is hilarious. But I would never want to partake or be like any of these fools that's on here doing the garbage and trash shit that they're doing. Don't want to be like you. Some of y'all sitting up here talking about you winning, and everybody done seen your ass, your pussy. Everybody done seen your penis. It's a little bit too early in the morning to be talking about ass and pussy, but sometimes you just got to. I'm sorry. But you done seen all that shit. And the shit is circulating, in the back chats like crazy. The shit is just circulating. You can't I stopped going into the Discordias. People have their little discords and their back chats and stuff. I have to stop going to these places because y'all over here, so-called bad bitches and bad niggas, and I see so much of y'all asses on here. So much with your bad ass. Some of y'all pussies look horrible, and people are laughing at you behind the scenes. By the way, they're laughing at you every time you come on here talking about your badass this and your big ass booty and people are laughing at you and they're showing that wrinkled up, crumpled up vagina as you're doing a live stream. We're in the Discord laughing at you. I'm just telling you how it is. And so you think that shit don't get around. Or maybe you don't care. Some of y'all, I got a question. Because you say you the baddest bitch, the baddest nigga, and all this other shit, and you let your stuff get out here like this. Do you even care about yourself? Because if anything, if I don't have a friend in this world, I'm at least going to be my own best friend. Some of y'all not even your own best friend. Some of y'all come on here acting like you can conquer the world with your dick and your pussy. It's kind of I don't know, I marvel at it. I was on D the Rail stream and somebody was asking me, it was like, well, Faith, everybody has a price. I am pretty damn gay, so why you got me on the speaker? You know I am prone to say anything. She said, why I hand my phone to Dunkin' Donuts soon as you said that? Why is you handing your phone? Child, you know good and daggone well, if you in a public place, you listening to these YouTube streams, you know we liable to get down with the get down. I am pretty damn gay, so said this is a save yourself era by all means necessary. I guess. I am pretty damn gangster. I guess it is. However, in this era, you really don't have to do all of that. They got so much stuff now that we didn't have just 10 years ago. Whereas now, you don't have to do all of that. You can actually get a side hustle and save your ass from being posted on this goddamn YouTube. They got side hustles now, 1099, that you can work on your days off and you can make $300-400 a day just driving your car. So now 3 days at $300, that's $900. That's half your rent right there. Now you got $900 that you didn't have to send a pussy pic out for. You didn't have to get down on your knees and do something strange for some change. All you had to do was just get in your car and go pick up some medical supplies and drop it off at the CVS pharmacy. But some of y'all so mentally lazy or just lazy in general. Y'all think y'all can conquer the world with y'all dick and y'all pussy. You would rather risk chlamydia, herpes, or HIV than get your ass up and get in your car, click on a gig app, and work a whole day to get some money. So you say to yourself, well, it's just easier if I just click, open your legs, click, 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 and then hit the send button and get some money like that. Like I said, some of y'all want to be on your knees. Some of y'all want to sell pussy or sell, bussy. Some of y'all, don't really want to work. Just the easiest thing you can do. So, if you want to sell pussy in this day and age, whether you have all these different alternatives, and mind you, you ain't got to put in a job application to be 1099. All you have to do is download an app these days, and you could be working in 2 days and get your money. But some of y'all mentally lazy, stupid, I don't know what it is. But hey, this day and age, if you want to sell pussy, that's you. That's because you want to do that. Maybe you get off on it a little bit. I don't know. I am pretty damn gangster said, I swear I'm yelling and driving. I'm just telling the truth though. Hey, don't hate me because I'm telling the truth. So now, me knowing what I know and me getting money all the time from different flows of income, and it was easy as hell. And I didn't have to suck no dick. Didn't have to open my legs and put the camera down there and go click, click. Didn't have to do none of that. And when I hear people is on this damn app, just sending click pictures for what? For freaking what? Whew, Lord. You just played yourself. That's what you did. You played yourself. Like I said, if you ain't got no friends, you at least supposed to be your own best friend. Some of y'all women out here, because it's mostly women. I know men do it too, but it's mostly y'all. I know your pussy be thinking, God damn, bitch, you done put me out here again? Again, bitch? Every time you want something, you throw your pussy out there. I know your pussy hates you. Some of y'all pussy hate you. If your pussies could talk, they would cuss your asses out. Damn, bitch. Did you have to show everybody what I look like? Everybody, bitch. Again? Again, motherfucker, if your pussies could talk, they would tell you what a ratchet ass bitch you are. Hmm. God flow thy one thy hate says, how do you open this conversation if you have daughters? This is overwhelming. Be honest. See, a lot of us, we tell our daughters what not to do, but we don't tell them why they shouldn't do it. So some of us are sitting up here telling our daughters to keep their legs closed, but then we don't say why. We don't explain to them what can happen. We're not putting the why with the demand. We put plenty of demands on our children, especially our daughters, but we don't never say why. It's always because I said so. So make sure you're breaking it down. The why, what the repercussions could be. That's what you need to be telling your daughters. Don't just enforce a rule without the understanding as to why this is the rule. Omni said, I was up thinking too the other day, how many have had failed birds and the bees talk? Yeah, there's there's a lot of them that have had the failed birds and the bees talk. Some of you all can come on this app and put motherfuckers up on game better than you can put your kids up on game. Because on this app, you're raw, you're honest, you're to the point, and you don't leave no stones unturned. That's how you got to be with your kids. Don't just enforce a rule. And so now people are just walking around here doing things because mommy said so or daddy said so. But they don't know why they doing it. So you're going to get people that's going to eventually rebel because they're going to get tired of just obeying orders. Because at this point, that's all they're doing. They're just blindly obeying orders. But they don't know why. And for a little while, they're going to be afraid of you. Fear is a deterrent, but even that doesn't last long. What lasts longer is that the person has a full understanding as to why they're doing what they're doing. That lasts longer. Yeah, but back to these ratchet ass people, just trash individuals. You know, you get some of these people that'll sit up here, they'll be 44-year-old Instagram thoughts. Once again, if you ain't got no friends, at least be your own best friend. Now, I don't mind, somebody trying a little something, you know, to see if they're going to be good at it. But after a few, months of doing something and it's not lucrative and you putting yourself out there, it's safe to assume that it's not for you. You're pretty bad at it. It's safe to assume putting yourself out there like that is not a good thing. It's not lucrative. Now, for those that are good at it and they make 10,000, 20,000, 30, 50,000 a month, they're good at what they do. Now, to them, I will say, keep doing what you're doing. But if you own this thing and you making less than 1,000, is it really worth your ass being out there? You over there shaking your ass for all it's worth, and at the end of the month, it was only worth less than 1,000. It's time to reevaluate. Maybe you need to say, you know what? Maybe this thing ain't worth as much as I thought it was. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. You're putting it out there and it's not yielding the return that you want it to yield. Maybe it's time to hang it up, because you could actually get more money driving for Uber. I'm just saying. You sitting up here shaking me, and that AdSense check come back and it's $1,000 for 1 month of shaking that thing, whereas 1 week of driving for Uber, you're coming home with 1,500 in 1 week. Do the math, dummy. Do the math. Maybe somebody need to get off the grant. I'm just saying. And then we got these people that are because that's just one facet of toxicity. Then you got these people that come into the space and they're dysfunctional. I wanna do domestic discipline to my wife. Motherfuckers. That come on here talking that garbage toxicity. And you on here thinking that this is going to attract what type of women to you? What type of woman is attracted to a man that says that he wants to beat her ass? I'll wait. How's that working out for you? How many women is lining up to get their ass beat? Sometimes I just be wondering, like, do y'all be thinking before y'all come on here and start talking? I am pretty damn gangster. No, it's not 10 years old, because I just heard somebody say it just the other day. They're still saying shit like this. And then I really, really, really enjoy, and I'm being sarcastic when I say this, the age of consent conversation. That's 10 years old too. But these motherfuckers are still on here saying dumbass shit like, oh, well, in some states, the age of consent is 15. And if I go to Georgia, I can bees with a 16-year-old in Tennessee. It's 14. Then they keep going lower and lower and lower. Idiots. And it's pretty damn trashy. These trashy people with the loudest and dumbest voices get on here and they're allowed to just say anything. But if you are sane and you say, hey, That's pretty fucked up. Now you about to get cussed out and told to stay in your lane. That's the part that always gets me. No, I am pretty damn gangster because see, the age of consent, these motherfuckers don't even understand the law. It's the Romeo and Juliet law, and they keep getting it mixed up. When if the state says that the age of consent is 14, what they're really talking about is 14-year-olds with other 14 and 15-year-olds, not 14-year-olds with 30 and 40-year-olds. Your 30 and 40-year-old behind will be locked up behind bars if you fuck with that 14-year-old. So the age of consent is really in conjunction to the Romeo and Juliet laws. Not it has like a range. So when you see people talking about age of consent, think of a age range. So if you are between the age of 14 and I would say they cut it off at 17, that's the age of consent between those individuals in that age range. So that means that if a 17-year-old is caught with the 14-year-old, well, they're within the age of consent for that age range. So that means the 17-year-old cannot be prosecuted. But now anyone outside that age range can be prosecuted. And see, this is what these people are not understanding about that age of consent law. It doesn't mean that that's for you, dummy. That 14-year-old is not for you. That 14-year-old is for other 14-year-olds. So if they get caught fucking, age of consent law, Romeo and Juliet law, aka the Romeo and Juliet law, kicks in. And so those young individuals are protected from prosecution. But your ass will go to jail. Right, it's within limits. And these fools get on here with this is the dysfunction. It's not just toxic, it's dysfunctional when they come on here talking about that. And this is how they get in trouble every time. Every time. Then they want to fantasize about if the law would let them be with people this young. Then they'll go as young as 12. And they want to fantasize, well, what if the law said that you can be with this person at this young age, would you do it? And some of them will say, absolutely. If the law would let me, the only thing that's holding me back from being with these little girls is the law. It's dysfunctional. And they'll sit up here and say that shit. And then the minute you want to get in their ass about that fucked up shit that they just set up there and said, now you got bitches, niggas and bitches alike want to stop you. They want to stop you. No. We don't say nothing to this person. I handled that. I was on a live stream for 5 hours. I handled it. Well, good for you. That's you. Good for you. You got it off, didn't you, for 5 hours? My turn. Then somebody want to step in and run interference every motherfucking time. What you running interference for? If somebody made a horrible pedophilic comment like this, every time somebody run across that motherfucker, they should have to hear that person's mouth about it because they opened their mouth and they said that shit. So you doing a 5-hour marathon about it don't satiate shit. That's you. Good for you. I'm going to get my shit off. Right, Godflow. I give those type of people the side eye. I do too. It's just like when these corporations sit up here and they have this arbitration agreement. I don't know if any of you are familiar with the law of some of these corporations, but some of these places will have you sign an arbitration agreement. And what that simply means is that you can't go outside the company to sue for certain shit that the company does to you that you don't like. But instead, the company will allow you to voice your concerns with them internally. And see, I don't like arbitration agreements for this reason. Because see, when they talk about that, taking care of stuff in-house, that means that you're dealing with their lawyers, their judges, their attorneys. So it's kind of like the company holding themselves accountable for shit that they did to you. So you got to trust in this quote unquote arbitration that the company is going to do right by you. Whereas if you can just outright sue a motherfucker, they don't have control over the judge. They don't have control over the lawyer. They don't have no control because it's an outside entity. It's the same thing with these motherfuckers in the beef sector with this whole fatty situation. They'll tell you, oh, it was 8 months ago and we let him have it. We took care of it. Don't you say nothing. So they control the narrative. They control the punishment. They control everything. And then what ends up happening is what they want to happen. Absolutely nothing. Business as usual. The company doesn't have to pay a fine. They don't have to pay you any type of damages. They just gave each other a slap on the wrist and they kept going. Exactly, Cassandra. In-house means cover up. And that's what's happening with this fatty situation. There's a lot of in-house cover up going on where people that are cool with fatty want to tell you how to feel about those comments that he made. They want to tell you they handled it. They want to tell you not to say nothing about it. They want to tell you to shut up about it because they don't want to stop their money. At the end of the day, is no better than a business corporation giving themselves a slap on the wrist because they just want to do business as usual. Not with an arbitration agreement. I am pretty damn gangster, and that and I'm gonna tell you that happens mostly with contractors. Now, if you are an employee, they can't, enforce arbitration agreements. But with contractors, they can. And when you're a contractor and you signed an arbitration agreement, you have to go with their in-house attorneys, their in-house judges, their in-house how can I say um the person that is the liaison. I forget what they call them. You have to, everything's in-house. But if you're an employee, no, they arbitration agreements are against the law in an employee situation. Employer employee situation is against the law. But with contractors, yeah, it's open season. They do that all the time with contractors because you're an outsider. The compliance officer, exactly. So, just pay attention, to these people and be careful of the garbage content that's out here. And not really the garbage content, but the garbage people that's putting out the content. This is what they look like. This is what they sound like. I saw a clip of a lady, and I guess she was beefing with another lady. And this other lady came on camera and she didn't acknowledge the woman at all. This woman was just down there. She was going on and on and on like a lawnmower boy. She was beefing her ass off, bitch this and hold that and blah 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 blah. And they don't realize, like, when they're doing all that talking, like with long run-on sentences, nobody ever remembers what you said. Nobody. And so the lady was just going about her day. She was talking to her friends. She just looking like she was living a fabulous life. And she came on camera and did that shit so smooth and was ignoring the other woman. Like, bitch, you don't even garner a response from me. Like, life is so beautiful and fabulous in real life that I ain't even thinking about you. And so while this chick was just going on and on and on, fighting really with herself, this other woman was on camera. Hey, what's going on? And taking care of business and smiling and I was like, that shit is so fucking cold. I was thinking to myself, I get what the fuck this lady is doing. That shit was cold. She's basically, saying, fuck you. You are not worth it. And that's what you got to do. That's what you got to do. I am pretty damn gangster said, don't sign shit you ain't comfortable with. Well, until they change the laws and they pretty much regulate these companies from imposing arbitration agreements on independent contractors will not get work unless they sign an arbitration agreement. So it's either you sign the agreement or you don't get the job. And so then you'll have a lot of starving contractors out there. Now, if people were organized, which they're not, they could possibly, form strikes against companies that do this to contractors. But that would entail people starting unions so that when these contractors do go on strike, they can still be paid. And right now, there's nothing in place for that. So the arbitration agreements will continue unless there's some type of legislation to abolish them. Kind of the same way with the trucking industry. And a lot of these unfair laws that they impose on truck drivers. Everything's done electronic. You can write sign on the protest and you cannot get the contract. They'll give it to somebody else. So that's the downside of being a 1099 worker. You were not protected by any laws. But where was I'm going back and forth here. I'm having two different conversations. Now, if you're talking about working for a company as an employee, you can try it. I did that one time with one company. I signed under protest, and then, because most companies are equal opportunity employers, they don't have to hire you. So that's where the conundrum comes in. How badly do you want to protest? And if you're the only one protesting, how effective is that going to be? So in my situation, I just didn't get the job. Somebody else, and they didn't sign on the protest, and they got the job. So that's usually how that plays out. Right, and that's a good thing. Know your worth. You can go and do that and see if another company will, hire you on. So it is what it is. Now, if you're in a position where you can do that, that's great. But a lot of people are not in that position. And I'm just going to be realistic. A lot of people are not in that situation where they can walk away from a job or a contract. It sounds good, but if you're the only one protesting, to some people, it's just not feasible. So I get what you're saying. But what was I? Where the hell was I? Because I'm going back and forth with I Am Pretty Damn Gangster, and the situation is this: you can protest and not have any backing but yourself, and you can go and take a lower paying job working at Home Depot that doesn't cover all your bills and cause other problems for yourself, or you're going to sign the arbitration agreement. So those are the choices that you're usually faced with, because when you're an independent contractor, that's what independent means. So if you yourself want to be independently protest, then that's on you. If you feel better at Home Depot making $15 an hour versus signing that contract where you're making $100,000 a year, that's a personal decision. What's up, Bro Speak? You know what, Bro Speak? You had a really good podcast, and then your podcast actually prompted me to do this live stream this morning. It did, because a lot of the things you said, especially about the beef sector, is absolutely true. It was the live stream I think you did last night, and I missed it, but I was watching it on the replay, and I heard some of the stuff that you were saying about Fatty and the rest of them, and different people, windmilling, trying to protect them and all that type of stuff. And it got me to thinking about these trash content creators and these people that sit up here and consume that trash. Yeah, you are what you eat. You are what you eat at the end of the day. So if you're consuming trash all the time, eventually that's what you're going to have flowing in and out your system. And like I said, I've seen some pretty quality people get eaten up by consuming too much trash. Like I said, I'm seeing stuff play out right before my very eyes. I'm a quality individual that I know that has a lot to lose. Beautiful, beautiful individual. But just consumed by hanging around trash. And so now I'm starting to see the emulation of trash in this person's content. I'm starting to see this person go out of character and actually, defend trash. And like I said, this person is a quality individual with a lot to lose. And she's hanging around people that don't have nothing to lose. You got something, they don't. Bro Speaks, he's a quality individual. He comes on here, he presents his work, and he doesn't have to floss or flash or none of that type of stuff. Succinct, to the point, good content. He don't pussyfoot around. He's straight, no chaser. Right, I am pretty damn gangster says some folks don't know when to step back and watch the show. It's great to be an observer. It is. Some people will try to draw you into their toxicity, though. I get it all the time. If you say something, if you want to, and here's the other thing, and this is how you know that some of these content creators are full of shit. They'll come in making an argument or creating an argument that nobody has even made, nobody even suggested, but they are afraid of being held accountable for their bullshit. Like I heard one the other day. Oh, you accountability people, you people talking about accountability. Nobody mentioned nothing about accountability. Everybody was just on the panel chilling. And like I said, mouth going like a lawnmower. But you worried about somebody saying something about accountability. Why is that? You know, one thing I noticed, especially with the women in this sector, whenever there's a female content creator that rises to the top, I noticed that that female content creator never veers on the side of female accountability, except for maybe a few. But they're always, you know, either on one end of the from one end of the spectrum to the other. Now some of these women are being holding men accountable, but no accountability for the women, or they'll be at the other end of the spectrum where they're holding nothing but women accountable, but no accountability for the men. It's never no balanced shit. I have yet to see anybody come in here and be balanced. So the women that come in here and they're, you know, the mammies for the most part, they're doing content basically pandering to an all male audience that wants to hear a woman say certain things about other women. The panderers, you know, they're going to come in and they're going to get their bag off of pandering. They're all pandering, to be honest with you, because even the women that come in and have no accountability for other women, but all the smoke in the world for men. You know, like this Princella thing. I'm just going to call a thing, even though I do like Princella and I agree with much of what she says, but there's a lot I don't agree with. But in her content, it's lacking female accountability. Now somebody will run up in here, but she do talk about female accountability every day, every motherfucking day. If your content is 90% niggas ain't shit, they don't know how to love, it's not your fault you ain't got a man because these motherfuckers don't know how to love you, and all this other stuff, it takes accountability off the woman 1000%. Because first of all, it's a no accountability motherfucker that's listening to her that don't want to take accountability for shit that they're doing wrong in their life. So if somebody tells them, hey, the reason why you ain't got a man, since it ain't you, it's them. But it might actually be her though. That's the kicker. Some of y'all, it is you. Some of you do have stink attitudes. Some of you do need to lose weight. Some of you do need to do some work on yourself. Get your education up. Learn how to budget. Love yourself a little bit more. So some of you, it is you. Why you don't have nobody. Right, Cassandra, the majority of women in the space do hate each other. And some hate each other for good reason. I'm not going to say that there's no good reason for the hate. But we don't acknowledge it. It's kind of like the elephant in the room. You know, we'll all say the sisterhood ain't shit, but we ain't gonna have a conversation to talk about why. We're not gonna talk about how some of these women are miserable bitches, and they get their jollies off on putting down other women. Every day you wake up and you're miserable and you have not done any self evaluation to figure out why. All you know is you hate this other bitch. But what's really happening is that other bitch reminds you of somebody who took your man back in 2013. That's what's really going on. And so now you just don't like that bitch. Or some of you have a weight problem. And so now this bitch comes on screen all nice and slim and pretty and built up, and maybe she might have had some work done, you don't know. But all you know is you can't look like that right now. You ain't got the money to get the work done, and you don't have the discipline to work the weight off. So you mad at her because she's where you want to be. Some of y'all got all different types of issues running around your head with the next woman. This woman's married. You were never able to get a man. So now you're mad at her because she's married. And the bitch is bragging. Not only is she married, but now she bragging. Now you don't like her. And we got issues. But the problem is we'll say the sisterhood ain't shit, but we won't call out what it is. What's up, D Darrell in the house? Whoa, with the $20 super chat. Thank you so much, brother, for the super chat. He says, "Speak, girl, speak. That's why I love and respect you so much. You just truly speaking the real. Thank you so much, at D Darrell." And hold on a second. Where's my money, man? Because I got to give praises where praises is due. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. No, and I do. I have to talk about the real. I am pretty damn gangster says I prefer not to be liked by most of these weirdos. And I do too. If you don't like me, it really don't bother me that much. Unless I'm fucked up. Now, if you don't like me because of my fucked up ways, then I don't mind somebody pulling me to the side. Now, one thing I don't like is motherfuckers fronting on me in front of everybody. You got a problem with me, pull me to the side and say, you know what, Faith, this is what it is. Woman's Fear does it to me all the time. Woman's Fear called me in a minute and she'll let me have it. And I respect her for that. She'll call and she'll say, well, you know what, Faith, this is what's fucked up, or I want to give you heads up about this, or whatever. But she'll call me, she'll pull me to the side, because we all have platforms on here. So if you pull me to the side and say I'm fucked up about some shit, I'll listen to you. I'll hear you out. If you front on me in front of everybody, I might hear you,
but I ain't gonna like your ass after that. I'm not gonna trust you after that. I may or may not listen to you if you come at me like that. I always respect somebody that can pull me to the side and say, hey, sis, let me straighten out your crown. Because sometimes we need that. I'm not above being, checked. Like, hey, sis, you're a little bit wrong about this right here. But getting back to the problems with the sisterhood and the toxicity, there's a lot of shit that we as sisters don't like about each other. And we'll sit up here and we'll laugh in each other's faces or not say shit, but we know that the sisterhood is fucked up. And I've been dragged. When I had my better class of women, I got dragged for telling black women that, we could do better. There is a better. And it's not about telling nobody how to live their life or anything like that. But just like I have a platform in your home is a platform for your children. So if you are in the home and all your children see is bad example of womanhood, that's your fault. That's your fault. If I'm on my platform and I'm presenting myself to my audience and I'm presenting a bad example of womanhood, that's my fault. Years ago, when I used to just be Faith Jones channel, I did a video called Black Mothers Can Be Narcissistic. And I talked about how a lot of these mothers are only concerned about themselves. They don't really give too much thought as to what's in the best interest of their child. And when I say this, I'm talking about women that use their children as pawns because all they're thinking about is controlling that man. But they're not thinking about what's good for the child. We got a lot of that going on. A lot of us are control freaks. Not going to say all, but there's quite a few of us that are control freaks. And you gonna do what I say do, or you can't see your child type bitches. We got a lot of those control freaks. You don't stop and you don't listen to nobody. It's all about what you want. That you want. To the point where you become an asshole. Because the child wants to be with the father. You're not listening to the child. The father is saying, hey, I got some things going on right here, and I need you to understand the position that I'm in. You're not listening to this person either. So there can be no negotiating with you because you're a control freak. The only thing that you can see is the outcome that you want. We got some women that's like that too. And they get loud and they think they're going to shout everybody down, which is what ends up happening. Everybody pretty much gets quiet or they leave your ass alone. They walk away from you because they tired of hearing all that annoying yelling. And so everybody walks in eggshells silently around you and they hate you. I'm going to just keep it a buck. They hate you. You're loud. You're selfish. You're ratchet as hell. And you don't listen to nobody. If the only person benefiting from a situation is you, then that's a problem. You the only person benefiting from the situation. You got what you wanted. He gave you the money. You went out and you did what you wanted to do with the money. The kids didn't get anything that they want. The baby daddy didn't get what he want. You the only person that benefited from the situation. And a lot of us as women, we don't think like that. So I did a video a long time ago outlining how narcissistic some of us can be. And I talked about how we don't care about the next generation of Black women. I say, that was during the time where a lot of single motherhood was being glorified because we called ourselves lifting each other up as single mothers by glorifying being a single mother. And it was the wrong thing to do. So my message during that time was to tell women, look, we have to do something different than what we're doing because what we're doing is not working. Single motherhood has not been positive for the community. I can see if it's been a positive thing, but it has not yielded us the results that we should be getting from it. And some of it is our responsibility because we decided to have these children with these people. So now, instead of elevating this, we need to tell our daughters something different. So there was a whole movement 10 years ago. It was Crystal Harrison's No Wedding, No Womb. And so we changed our message. But at first, it was an uphill battle. Some of us took heavy hits for having this as a message, my channel especially. Because if you tell women the truth, some of us don't want to hear the truth. I told women years ago, look, for those of us that have already become single mothers, we made our beds, we need to lie in it. Let's just focus on raising our children. Because at that time, 10 years ago, I had teenagers. I said, let's just focus on raising our kids and shift the focus off of getting a man. If we've already, made bad decisions, then we need to go ahead and just live with that and focus all of our attention and all of our energy on our children, and it will get greater later. This is what I tried to say to you guys. And what I meant by that is, if you did not make good decision in choosing a viable husband or viable father for your children, then you need to step back from dating. Just focus on your children and evaluate why that is. And because it's not safe to be bringing all these men around your children, especially. So when I said it gets greater later, I mean after your children have been raised, they've grown up, you've done your job, then you can focus on dating. Nobody wanted to hear that. No, Faith, what about our redemption? And this is where I said some of you are selfish. Some of you are selfish. But is it selfish for me to want to find love? Yes. Yes, it's selfish. And here's why. You're making bad decision after bad decision. If the decision making has been bad all the way up until this point, you need to step away from it. Take time with yourself. Let your children grow up in a safe environment where you are putting them as the focal point and not your dating life. And y'all didn't want to hear that shit. Because what about my redemption, Faith? What about my redemption? And you wanted to know why I made that video that you were narcissistic. Oh, I am pretty damn gangster said my dad like your voice. Well, tell your dad I said thank you. Yes, some of you were pretty mad at me back then because you think that you can keep making bad decision after bad decision. You want to keep getting a bite at the apple, but the apple is rotten at this point. The apple started off good when you first took a bite out of it. And I don't know if any of you know too much about apples, but after a while, that apple, it'll start to form that little brown, ring around the areas where you took a bite out of it because it's starting to rot. Starting to rot. So you're biting at a rotting apple, but you're too close to it to see that it's starting to rot. So I'm telling you, step away for a second. Take a look at that apple you keep trying to take a bite out of. And maybe, just maybe, you might want to throw that away and start over with a new one. Find a better apple. And that might take time, but it's better for you to step away and take that time than for you to keep eating at that rotten apple. That rotten apple represents your bad decisions. I know I can find a man. I know I can have a good man. I know I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. And what we were doing back then, Generation X, is we kept trying to take a bite at that same rotten apple. And 3 kids later, 4 kids later, 2 baby daddies later, 3 baby daddies later, 4 baby daddies later, now we're bitter because we keep biting at the same rotten apple. And we're not stepping back to see that it's starting to rot around the edges. And the effects that that's having on us, because it's definitely having an effect on you. And the effects that you are having on with your kids, because Because the same rotten apple that you're biting off of, you're feeding it to your kids. You're bringing all these bad apples around your kids. It's bad for you, it's bad for them. And that's what I was trying to tell you so many years ago. But you wanted to hear what you wanted to hear. So you ran to get garbage content. Somebody to tell you that it's okay for you to keep eating at that rotten apple. No, take time, step back, work on yourself, get your system cleansed out. And it's going to get greater later. Focus on nursing yourself back to health. Focus on loving those kids and giving them what they need. And then it gets greater later. Nobody wanted to hear that. Nobody, nobody, nobody. But we want to hear that we got the best pussy. We want to hear that we got some nice booty cheeks or fatty cakes. We want someone to tell us that we look good, flirt with us, little superficial shit. And that is a temporary self-esteem boost. Temporary. Good morning, Demetrius. Temporary self-esteem boost is what a lot of you settled for instead of actually working on yourselves. Garbage in, garbage out. So we ran to the people that told us what we wanted to hear. You can level up with 5 kids. What's up, underrated darkness? You can level up even though you got that stank ass attitude. You can level up with 5 bellies. Oh, all you got to do is slap some lipstick on that and put on a big old curtain. Yeah, I mean, you went to these people that told you what you wanted to hear. And some of you are still listening and you still haven't gotten any results. And now your kids are older. They hate you because you haven't focused on them in a long time. You hadn't focused on those kids in a long time. You were too busy working on your redemption. What about my redemption, Faith? What about my redemption? 10 years later, your children hate you because you were too busy working on your redemption. But you were not focusing on those kids. You were too busy trying to get the bag, but you were not really trying to pour into your children.
I stepped back, I stopped, and I raised my kids. And the result is I have children that love me, they're here for me, and they haven't made the same mistakes or walked into the same footsteps that I walked in, because that's something that I made sure didn't happen. And it got greater later. I met a wonderful man, and we're friends to this day. I met a lot of wonderful people who have come into my life and who have enriched my life. And I started to recognize the trash that I was entertaining. And my life is so much more fulfilling now that I have learned how to pick and choose value over trash. Before I was inviting trash into my life, I had no happiness, not true happiness. There was plenty of people there, but they were not fulfilling my life worth a damn. A lot of them that were there, they were taking away from my life. So when you start stepping back and you start noticing that that oxidation, as Demetrius so nicely put it down there in the chat room, is starting to rot away at that apple that you're biting at. And you can see it for what it is. You can throw away that rotting apple and you can choose something better. But first, you have to step away and you have to evaluate what the situation is. And sometimes it's not you, sometimes it's the people that you surround yourself with. They'll have you thinking you're crazy because you're sane. You're sane. So before you go too hard on yourself, step back, evaluate the situation, because you might, in fact, be surrounded by idiots. True story. You might, in fact, be surrounding yourself with idiots, and you need to get away from them. You ever heard of that old statement, I'm surrounded by idiots? That's your fault. If you're surrounded by idiots, that's 100% your fault, because you're the one allowing the idiots to be in your orbit. And if those idiots are your children, you're the one that's raising them. That's your fault too. Maybe it's something in you that you need to change so that you can produce better offspring. Demetrius said, Priscilla chat room, anyone? Hmm. But anyway, guys, I've been up here for 2 hours on my soapbox. I just came up here this morning to share a little bit of the inner thinkings of faith. One last thing I do want to say though about some of you ex strippers. Some of y'all was sliding up and down that pole so goddamn long. You was starting to get old as fuck sliding up and down that pole to the point where your old behind needed diapers and you were leaving shit on the pole. You probably got fired from the strip club you were at because you left shit on the pole and the other strippers were complaining because you're an occupational hazard. So they retired your old ass. And so now you're on YouTube full of shit. You're full of shit on here too. And I can't for the life of me understand why some of y'all come on here to spread your bullshit. Oh, here we go. I am pretty damn gangster. I like strippers. They're friendly and it's a vibe. Plus, they can fight. Oh, look, y'all. If you with bitches that gotta fight, you doing something wrong. You doing something wrong. I used to hang out with unsavory bitches like this. And they are a vibe, as I am pretty damn gangster says. And it's a job, but those women are friendly because they gotta be to their customers. And they are full of shit. Because every time they smile, that smile comes with a request for you to do something for them, whether you be a man or a woman. And I peeped the game a long time ago with that friendly bullshit, that fighting bullshit too. It's like I said, I had a friend that I used to hang out with, and she used to be flipping with the mouth, and we were fighting all the time. I'm not a stripper, but I can fight. And I'm going to tell you, it gets old. It gets old. I was heading towards my 30s when I realized I'm tired of fighting all the time. So I had to find a better class of friends so that I won't be out here old as fuck, still fighting in the streets, fighting at the Walmart, fighting at the Aldi's, fighting at the CVS pharmacy, fighting at the gas station. One day we were fighting. I forget, what were we at when we were fighting? I think we were downtown somewhere. I forget why we had to go downtown, but we were fighting us outside the courthouse. It, everyday fighting. I don't like that shit. I don't calm down. I am pretty damn gangster, and that's the thing that I don't like. When my emotions run high and I start fighting, I'm not fighting to hurt you or put you out of commission or none of that type of stuff. I want to kill you.
I'm just going to be honest. So I will strangle you because my emotions are high. And next thing I know, I got a body. And there's some people that are like me. They not fighting you just to, get a reputation or a name. It's just that you done get that person so riled up and outside their character that they don't know when to stop. And that's my problem. The not knowing when to stop. And it's like when you see blood, it starts to feel good to you. And so you want to keep going and going and going and going. And the only thing that stops you is if you get knocked out or you get put in handcuffs. And I got tired of that. I'm going to just be honest with you. I got tired of that shit. It's not a badge of honor to be fighting all the time. My last fight was 3 years ago, and it was with a family member. And when you're fighting your family and you realize you're about to almost kill them, it's a wake up moment. It's a wake up moment. I'm not a praying woman. I am pretty damn gangster. I believe in myself and I believe in the universe. So get some self control. That's all I can tell you. Get you some self control because I lost a lot of shit behind not having self control. That's all I can tell you. Got a record and lost a lot of shit that I'm just now getting back, all because I lacked self control. So I'm not going to pray for you, but I will give you some advice. Get you some self control because you're going to start losing shit. And when that starts to happen, it's not going to be fun. So I had to learn self discipline and controlling my emotions, did anger management and domestic violence classes, and learned that there was a lot of things that I had going on with myself that I had to rein in. I had to parent myself to get some goddamn self control to act like a decent human being and an adult. And it was something I didn't realize I didn't have because I thought I had it all together. I thought that I was a very well contained and controlled individual. And for the most part, I am. But ironically, my anger managed counselor told me I hold things in to the point where I burst and lose control. So I had to learn healthy ways to get out my anger. so that it doesn't grow and grow and grow to the point where I'm no longer doing self defense, I'm committing murder. And so it wasn't self defense in my case. I am pretty damn gangster. It was me losing control because I had a lot of shit built up inside of me. And you don't want that to ever be you. But thank God my daughter and I have rebuilt our relationship, and I learned a lot from that situation. I'll just put it that way. And I take 1000% responsibility for myself. And that's what you got to do. You got to take responsibility for yourself. And there are other ways to resolve conflict besides having to go there. So I now learn other ways to resolve conflict. I learn ways to let out anger, and I know what my triggers are, and I don't let people press my buttons anymore. And you got to know what your triggers are. If you find yourself in a situation where you are quote unquote defending yourself all the time with violence, it's a problem. So I learned to use my words. Yeah, I can. I can teach you. I am pretty damn gangster because I came out of something really big and I didn't even realize I was like that. And that's the other thing. As black mothers, we take a lot of anger out on the people closest to us, and that would be our children. And we don't recognize that we're doing that. So now, when I'm in the mall and I see a mother at the end of her rope and she's about to, fire off on her kids, I don't have no qualms about stepping in and stopping that woman from doing that because I know what that is: frustration, anger, because that nigga left you to do that shit by yourself. Let's be honest. You're mad because he left you to do that by yourself. You're angry because you got a mound of different things that you got to do. And you may or may not necessarily have help. But if you're not willing to admit you got a problem, I can't help you. And if you think that it's cute or if you think that it makes you a bad bitch, I can't help you. I can only help the people that are aware that they have a problem. Because some people think they're perfectly right in what they do, and you're not. And that's the other thing. We got to make it whack to not, how can I say, we need to make it whack to resort to violence every chance we get. Because there's repercussions for that shit. And like I said, your kids are going to grow up and hate you because you was that chick they could never talk to. You was that person that was always blowing up. You only wanted things your way. Nobody else won in any outcome. You were the only person that benefited. And at the end of the day, that makes you a bully, and nobody likes a bully. So, like I said, I can help you if you realize that you might be a bully. But if you don't know you're a bully or if you think it's cool, I can't help you. Let's see. I pretty much think I covered everything that I wanted to cover. So I'll probably be back on here some other time during the week, but I do try to at least post up once a week. I don't post every day, but I do try to get on here and speak to my people. Oh, hold on a second. I am pretty damn gangster says, "Oh my God, I've been waiting for someone to talk about that." And she beat up that other mom and her kid. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, we need to learn how to communicate. That's the reason why our children grow up and don't know how to communicate, because we communicate with our fists. We communicate by yelling and screaming. So if you don't have self control over yourself, how are you going to teach that to your children? How are you going to teach your children to use their inside voice when you don't know how to use your inside voice? How are you going to teach your children about conflict resolution? They can't take any of that gangster shit on a job. You see what I'm saying? They can't take none of that shit on a job. And that type of thing is not going to be beneficial to them in a loving relationship with anybody. So we can teach our children to be hard, to be gangster, don't take no shit off of nobody, but that's not going to help them win or succeed in life. Sometimes we teach trash to our children without even being aware of it. So now if you're undisciplined, you don't know how to communicate and use your words. You don't know how to resolve conflicts, not even within your own home or with the people that you deal with on a day to day. If you can't do it, you can't teach your children how to do it. And that's the reason why we're constantly producing people that are in and out of the prison system. And that starts with us as parents, mostly the mothers. And that's the other thing that we don't talk about in the sisterhood. How we abuse our children, some of us, because we're yelling and screaming at them all the time. We tell them to use their inside voice, but we don't do as we say. It's basically do as I say, but not as I do. But mama, you don't use your inside voice. I don't give a fuck. I'm the mama. I pay the bills up in here. This is what we do. And so by leading that by that bad example, because some of you all are you're nothing but walking bad examples. Always loud and proud.
never getting anywhere in life. Faith is gonna tell you some real shit. Cause Faith done been through a lot of shit, okay? I done lived. I've seen way worse than some of what you all pretend to be online. I laugh at it. It's funny to me. But the only people you're hurting is yourself and your legacy. I'm gonna be honest with you. Is that's you and that's your legacy that you're hurting. Communication is an important resource. Effective communication, being able to have control over one's emotions, that is an important resource as well. And the thing about it is, I know why you all you people that lose their shit, because you think in a volatile environment you have to, do as volatile people do. Or in a volatile environment, you can actually avoid volatile people or move to a better neighborhood. But this whole if you can't beat them, join them thing, that's exactly what is keeping us at the bottom. And teaching your children this by you acting it out, that's what's keeping them at the bottom. They'll never learn how to be good problem solvers. That's the reason why we have the worst customer service, because we don't have no interpersonal skills. We are basically Neanderthal savages, but we don't never want to hit it. We think it's a good thing to be labeled a savage. That's how bad it is. But anyway, I've been trying to get up off of here for the longest. This is Faith. You have been watching the Faith Factor. I want to say shout out to everybody that came in to check out the stream. If you're watching it on the replay, please hit the like. And also, if you want to support the channel, hit the super thanks. Or you can send all funds to the Cash App, $Lady in the Truck. And with that, I got to say smooches. I love each and every one of you. And I am out. Holla.